Hi, I'm Mike Crabb.
And I'm Lori Schultz. Welcome to the show.
We'll have some caffeinated conversation.
And maybe some special guests along the way.
Who knows where the conversation will go? You're out for coffee with Mike and Lori. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Out for Coffee.
With Mike and Lori.
Good morning, Lori.
Hello, Michael.
How are we today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yes. Is that shocking?
No. It's fine. No judgment. Just observation. Wonderful.
I'm feeling wonderful.
I love me.
Well, where are we today?
Where are we today?
I'm wonderful because we're out and about today.
We're back on the deck.
Yes, we are. We are revisiting Rob's deck this morning. We have been out getting set up and everything. I've yet to hear his cicada.
That's right.
Might come later.
It was a year ago, just about a year ago to the day almost, that we were here last time.
Yeah.
And there was that cicada that needed a punch right to the face because he wouldn't shut it.
Yes.
Don't call PETA.
Let's say good morning to Rob. How are you,
Hi, Rob.
It's lovely to be
I am doing
back.
well. Thank you very kindly.
Oh.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for hosting us on your deck.
You are very welcome. Glad to have you all.
We like your deck, Rob.
Thank you.
You got good
It's
deck.
nice and comfortable, and it's covered here, so that little bit of threat of rain, I don't think it's going to bother us today. So.
Yeah, I was worried about that because it's meant to rain today. But like, you do have a good setup. We might just get like some ambiance happening in the background, a little white noise of summer rain. There's a drop.
There might be a cicada in the distance.
I think that's an air conditioner.
What's the difference?
So what's new, Lori?
Well, how are you feeling this morning, Mike? I know you said you're wonderful, but you're a little tired?
It was a pretty emotional evening last night.
Yes.
What did we do?
Last night, I made it happen. I told you I would, and I did. Last night, I got Mike to watch Beaches.
We watched Beaches. For a little reminder, I own it on DVD, and I've never seen it.
He's had it for years.
Years?
In the plastic packaging.
Yeah.
For years.
I think maybe we won it in a contest or something like
You
that.
told
And
me
it came in like a gift basket kind of thing.
Yeah, but I'm like, there's no way that you being so, entrenched in the theater
Right.
should not have seen the movie Beaches.
So I knew Bette Midler played a celebrity in the movie. I didn't realize it was like a Broadway celebrity. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot that I didn't understand about it. It was a really good movie.
I know. I've been saying this for years.
It's a good story.
It's a great story. And when I was young, if I could have been anything in the world, it would have been Bette Midler.
Well, I did see a young Lori Schultz as we were watching. I'm like, it's Lori. Yeah. It's a lot of character.
What can I tell you? But I have seen that movie probably 30 to 50 times.
Somewhere in there.
It came out, I think, in like 88 or 89 or something like that.
Okay.
I've seen it at least once a year since it's been out.
So you were in like middle school, that like
Yeah.
7-ish
Yes.
age.
I know we've talked about my cousin Mike before.
Yeah.
Remember the Mike with the piranha?
Oh, yeah.
Cousin Mike. He didn't actually own Piranha, for anyone who knew. It was the movie Piranha. I watched that movie with my cousin Mike the first time, and he will tell you my reaction to the end of that movie was so intense the first time I saw it. It was like, everybody cries at a movie every once in a while. Like, they wipe a tear, like, oh, that's kind of sad, right?
Yeah.
I was to the point, you would think that I had just witnessed my dog getting hit by a car.
You're full ugly cry mode.
I was, when you're like, you can't catch your breath. I was like, I don't know. And I could not breathe. And my mom came running down the stairs. Are you okay? I'm like, she died. Oh my God. Acting.
Very good.
Thank
That
you.
was impressive.
Yeah. And so that movie hits me really hard. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah. You've
I've
seen
known
it
what's
30
gonna
to
happen
50
for 30
times.
years, right? But every single time I see that movie and we have like the same part. Can you tell everybody how you reacted to that movie last night, Mike? Because it was one of the same parts that get me every time that got Mike.
Well, but how do we say it without giving it away for those that haven't seen it?
Well, I think the movie's 30 years old if you haven't seen it by now.
True. There's just this one moment where Bette Midler is starting to take care.
Apparently, if you haven't seen it by now, it's because you're, in Mike's camp of.
Yeah, you're in my realm.
but he liked it.
I really liked it. There's a moment where Bette Midler and her best friend, her child, have this very heart-wrenching moment. And it's a little moment, but it was right in the heart.
Right in the feels. And I look over, and Mike is wiping his little eyes away.
Get it out of there. What is that?
It's like, what is this salty discharge? So,
well, thank you for hosting a lovely movie watching evening.
no problem. We had some pizza.
We did.
We had some hot and readies.
Yes, we did.
They were hot and ready.
They were.
It's not always the case, but this time they were hot and ready.
Yeah.
And pretty good. And the crazy bread. I don't know what Little Caesars does. And I don't eat bread. But last night I ate bread.
We treated ourselves.
I ate some bread, and man, that was good. I could have eaten 2 bags of that bread. Just
Next time I'll bring
with hordes of bread. Yeah, that's how I got where I am. Me with a loaf of sourdough. The rest of you just go somewhere else. I'll just be sitting here eating my sourdough right out of the loaf. But I digress.
All right.
Anyway, so what's going on today, Mike?
What are we doing here today? We are very excited because we love our in-person stuff because it usually means we have a guest with us. And today we are very excited to have join with us.
The cicada. No.
Today we're very excited to welcome our guest, Scott Rumble. Good morning,
Yay,
Scott.
Good
Rumble,
morning.
yay.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks.
Good. Have you seen Beaches?
I have not seen
Oh
Beaches.
my God, Scott.
I'm here sitting here like, yes, Bette Midler is in Beaches.
Fact.
Yes.
Well, guess what? I'm not doing anything tonight, so guess where you're going, Scott?
You're going to cry with Lori
Oh boy.
and eat a loaf of bread.
Get over here and cry.
I'm more excited about the bread.
Yes. Yeah. No, what do you mean? You can't be more excited about the bread.
I'm so
Beaches.
sorry. Yes, you're
All
right.
So Scott is a professional opera singer.
So they say.
And we have had the opportunity to, I've had the opportunity to hear him sing, Lori too, at the theater recently for the WCI show. But that's I've only recently gotten to know you.
Yeah.
And you are extremely talented. And we thought, let's get you on. I want to talk to you a little bit about your experience of what got you to where you are today and what it's like to be an opera singer.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you just recently got to know Scott,
Yeah.
but I've known Scott for a while.
for some time.
For some time now.
So how do you know Scott?
Scott was a WCI music theater student.
I was, yeah. Way back when.
Way back in the good old days.
Yeah.
Not that these aren't good days, but they're not the old days.
They're not the old days.
They're the good
Stop
nowadays.
talking, Lori. Why am I like this? I don't know.
So you went to WCI and you did
Yeah.
the musical theater program.
Yeah, my last 2 years there, yeah.
And was that did you do a lot of performing before then?
No, not really. I like as a kid I got forced into like school choirs and like church choir and stuff.
Right.
And then back in the day you get bullied for sounding like a girl as a young boy, and then I was just like, no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
And I gave it up for a long, long time. And then started back up at WCI. Yeah, didn't really perform. I was in like bands and stuff
Right.
every once in a while, but not anything too crazy.
You just took a little detour. You're like, maybe not for a little while.
Took some time off, but I was always in music.
And then you came back with a bang. So when you did shows at WCI, what shows did you do?
So I first started there in my grade 12 year for musical theater, and we did Les Mis.
Cool.
And
we did.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I got to play Enjolras, wear a nice red vest, and so, yeah, be looking all studly.
Red, black.
Yeah, all
Red,
that.
black.
The dude that sings that, essentially. And then the next year did Sweeney Todd there.
And who did you play in Sweeney Todd?
Sweeney Todd.
He was the Damon Barber of Fleet Street right here.
Yeah, that's right.
Which to this day, so I've never known you like throughout all this. I
Yeah.
never had an opportunity to see you perform or anything like that. But still to this day, people talk about you as Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, apparently, and I don't know why. It was apparently it's one of their favorite shows that they've done there or something.
I think that is probably my favorite show that we've done.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow!
It was really, really good.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
a
Yeah.
pretty fun show. And I'm disappointed I didn't see it because not only were you in it, but a lot of our common friends nowadays were
Yeah,
in it back then
for
too.
sure. Yeah,
So I really missed out.
you really did, because that was my first foray into classical singing too. Was that show?
Okay, so that kind of gave you a taste into like
Yeah,
that style.
yeah, for sure. It was very interesting how it all came about.
So you must have found some newfound confidence or something if it kind of relit a fire in you that had once maybe dwindled out a bit.
Yeah, it was very. like it's hard to explain it because I just naturally kind of came to it where I had gone away from all that kind of thing, and then eventually just stepping on the stage again felt really natural in a way, and I picked it up pretty quick. Yeah, I don't know.
That's how it feels when you're supposed to be there.
Apparently,
Right?
yeah, and it was just very. It felt like a comforting space, and everybody was really nice and supportive, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and I was decent at it. So.
Right.
Yeah, he was decent at it. Yeah.
Well, I didn't start off decent. I had to practice a bit. And,
Well, and
As we do, I mean, that's what happens,
that's
right?
the beauty of trying new things and
Exactly,
exploring
yeah.
our potential.
but I never would have done it if I didn't get pushed because I didn't want to do it.
You know, sometimes peer pressure is a really good thing.
Thank you, Chuck Baxter.
Yeah. So anytime I'm telling you what to do, just think.
It's
It could
that
change
side
the
of
course
it.
of your life.
You could become a professional opera singer because of it.
Or in Lori's case, it'll put us in jail somehow.
Right.
Either way,
Well, I'm not going to suggest criminal activity, but
Well, you
Why
say that
not?
now?
that's true. I mean, who knows what the future holds?
So you finish high school.
yeah.
And did you immediately go into the performing arts?
Yeah, so what I did was after I did my victory lap at high school, auditioned for universities, went to Western University, did an undergraduate there, did a 1-year artist diploma after that because I forgot to apply to master's school.
Right.
And then I went out to University of British Columbia after that for my master's degree, did 3 years there. Yeah, and then I did these things called young artist programs.
Okay.
Where you go and work for an opera company, they pay you, but you're essentially extending your training.
Okay.
And they give you professional experience. You get some roles on the big stages and stuff. And
It's like an apprenticeship.
I was
yeah,
just gonna
it's
say,
an
yeah.
apprenticeship essentially.
articling.
Yeah, so I did 2 years of that at Vancouver Opera, or 1 year at Vancouver Opera, and 2 years of it at Calgary Opera.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of have delved into it on my own.
Very cool. So when you perform now,
Yeah.
where do you typically perform? I know you do a decent amount of stuff in Toronto.
Yeah.
Whereabouts do you perform?
I've been performing in Toronto at the St. Lawrence Centre for the Arts in the Jane Mallett Theatre.
Okay.
With a company called Toronto Operetta Theatre and a company called Opera and Concert.
Okay.
They've done a few stuff with me this year. I just finished a show there recently. As of Sunday, I was done.
Right.
So a week ago.
Yeah.
And they kind of keep me there, but I also do a lot of stuff out in Vancouver. And that's kind of my main thing. I have a thing in Calgary in August that's coming up, and go to Hamilton this week to do a concert.
Very cool. And are you limited to performing in Canada? Are you part of a group or something like that? Or
I'm part of an agency, but we also can do stuff in the States or Europe or anything like that. But my main thing right now is just in Canada because it's just starting a career out.
right.
Because I'm still considered a young artist
Right.
or an emerging artist.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So, and what types of shows do you get to perform in? Because I understand a lot of opera is not necessarily in English.
Yeah, no, most of it is not.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of stuff in Italian. My main one I do is German. I sing a lot in German, Russian, French.
Do you know what you're singing, or you just trust? You just trust that
You
what's on
fake
the
it till you
pages?
make it, right? No, you go through and you translate it. So you have an idea of what you're saying, and you
story you're
memorize that as
Okay.
well as the top of the words you're doing. And
It's not like some recipe for.
a lot of times you sound like you're
Horseradish or
casting a
something.
spell
Yeah.
kind of thing. But I'm just like, what is this nonsense? And then you translate it and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. But yeah, it's a lot of work on that, making sure you're pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah.
That's so much prep
In
work
German,
to
I feel like I can say this with the last name Schultz,
go. I would think so.
but German is such an. Please don't hate me, but it's such an angry sounding
It can be.
language. It's very harsh.
It's very sharp, yeah.
Yeah, it's a harsh language, but
Yeah.
does it translate like that when you sing?
No,
in
not
German?
really. I consider it one of the more romantic sounding languages. It's English sound, English is a Germanic
Yes.
language.
Yes, it is.
So it's very similar in how that works, but I always find it's very flowy if you're doing it right.
Okay.
And it's not as harsh as a lot of people make it out to be, because when people make fun of it, they're really going
It's
for
like,
it.
why are you yelling at me?
It's like,
I'm
stop
not.
yelling.
It's a bedtime story.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not. It's
lullaby.
very light, and it's very nice. Like, it just, you can just be like, ich bin Scott, and it's not as harsh, but that's just like, I am Scott, right?
Right.
Like, it's not. But a lot of people make the thing of like, oh yeah, papillon, butterfly, schmetterling. Yeah.
Oh, the homeland.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Are you fluent in any other languages?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
I should be at this point, but my language skills are not the best in terms of remembering. Like, my grammar is not that good. Like, I can get by in a lot of languages.
okay.
Like, I can be like, where is this? Or like,
Right.
I can
Transactional.
figure
language.
it out, like
Okay.
daily activity things, and like chop it up. But I am nowhere near fluent in any of them, except barely English too. So.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, very cool. And so what? So here's one story. So when I got to see you perform for the first time, it was
Yeah.
actually during like a rehearsal for the WCI thing at the
Oh,
theater.
yeah, yeah.
And so we're in the auditorium at the theater, and I'm way up near the tech booth, and Scott starts singing, and you are so incredibly loud and good at projecting your voice. I thought they need to turn his microphone down a bit because it was like a lot. You weren't even on a microphone. I have
No.
never heard anybody sing that loudly.
Not mic'd.
Yeah, no,
It was impressive.
It's what I'm known for, apparently. One of my friends got a review of a concert I did in October out in Vancouver. They got a text from a friend of theirs who was there and just said, oh, and tell the small, loud man he was very good.
The small loud man.
And I was just like, wow, probably the kindest review I've had in a while. But yeah, no, that is a very known fact about Scott Rumble, is he is loud.
Right.
And that's quite a lot of the music I sing is meant in that louder voiced kind of area.
Well, are you typically microphoned in a larger?
No.
Right. So you really have to use that voice.
Yeah, you're hardly ever microphoned in opera. And if you are, it's because you have a small voice, or it's a very big hall, or you're outdoors.
Right. That's fair, I guess.
Like, I did a performance last summer in Hamilton, and we did it as a drive-in concert. So, like, everybody drove in, and
Oh,
there was
cool.
a snack bar thing, and, like, we performed on a
That's very
platform
cool.
stage and everything, and made it look like Grease the musical a bit. It was really fun. I had a nice little hairstyle and a mustache and all this, and
Cool.
leather jacket. But that instance we were microphoned for.
Okay.
But not often, are you?
all right.
Because it's so weird because you are very, very loud and bellowing as a singer.
Yeah.
But just talking to Scott, he's just so quiet and soft and just,
Oh, and my mom would disagree with that, too.
well, your mom's not here right now.
That's true, yeah. I tend to be the loud one in the house, but there's a microphone here. I don't want to blow it out.
That's true. Okay, it's
Well, I might be sitting at a table with two of the loudest people I know, actually, to be honest.
I can hear you.
Yeah,
Are you going to start singing opera?
I'm not.
Oh, you should give it a go. I hear
not
you
that
sing that acting.
Acting!
That's pretty good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Scott.
Oh my god.
So what's your favorite thing about what you do? Like, is there something that...
Yeah, my favorite thing about what I do is getting an emotional response from the audience. Like, I can connect with them, and like you can hear how they're responding to you, and just afterwards, their whole like they talk to you about their experience and
Right.
like how they felt, and you're just like, I'm so happy I was able to make you feel that
and
way.
help provoke that.
Or even if it's like a bad feeling or anything like that, I like made them feel something.
Well, and that's the important thing about art, right? Is
Yeah.
helping people feel and giving them the opportunity to experience.
And that's why people always go back.
right.
And it could be because they like the music or the tunes, but it's still an emotional response. And they're always like, it's just like a way of also emotional release of yourself
Sure.
on stage, because you have to be in opera. It's such high emotions.
Right.
And like to the extreme.
Right.
Like there's musical theater where it's like pretty emotional, like you get into these, but like opera's like
The peak.
like always high emotions.
Okay.
And so you're giving so much, and then to get response from the audience is always the thing I thrive for.
It's the payoff.
Yeah.
Very cool. Is there something that you consider the more daunting or like a troubling part of your job? What's the hardest thing?
Making sure your voice is in good health.
Because you got to take care of that.
Oh yeah, because it's your livelihood. If
Yeah.
you get sick, if you get any sort of like inkling of like a scratchy throat, or if you spoke too much or like screamed,
Right.
so you're like a little sore or anything like that, or tired.
So you don't go to like a karaoke bar the night before and sing some Guns N' Roses or anything like
I
that?
actually hate karaoke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hate going to
Is it
karaoke.
upsetting to the ear?
No, I like love when other people are doing it.
Okay.
But I will never do it.
Why?
not?
I just hate that kind of thing. Like, it's the same sort of thing at family things where like, oh, Scott, just sing something. I'm like, no, that's my job
So I can't just ask you to start singing right now?
for a fee.
We'll send you an invoice. Well, that's really interesting. So I have always really enjoyed singing myself.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have. I think I have the ability, but I don't know if I have the technique down.
Yeah, everybody has the ability to do it.
Need
Okay.
some training.
Yeah, a lot of time.
So, what type of training have you gone through? I know you said post-secondary school, but is there any other things that you've done to help you kind of master your craft?
Well, like, you work a lot with, like, in your post-secondary education and, like, on your own, you're working a lot with teachers who have have a lot more experience than you and, like, are there to kind of, like, hear what you're doing. But it's a lot of groundwork for yourself. Like, you have to work on your breath, like your breath control,
Right.
projection.
Well, especially when you're projecting that loud,
Yeah.
you really have to careful how the fuel tank of the oxygen is working.
And surprisingly, it's not about how much air you intake; it's about how you release it.
Right.
And yeah, it's a fine balance. And if you go one way or another, especially as a tenor, you could crack. Like, your voice could like falter, and people all of a sudden are like,
Full of Peter Brady.
"Yeah,
You guys are like, who's Peter Brady?
I am
the
like,
Brady
who's
Bunch?
Peter Brady?"
Yeah, from the Brady Bunch.
Oh,
Did he sing?
the Brady
Brady
Bunch
Bunch album.
sang.
And then there's that.
I don't watch
you
the
never
Brady
watched the
Bunch.
Brady-
There's that
No.
famous clip, which we will share, where Peter Brady. It's a song about time to change. When it's time to change, and his voice changes right in the middle of the song.
I thought
Oh,
the
and
Partridge
that's always
Family
fun.
sang.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
The Brady Bunch sang as
Yeah,
well.
I had the
Oh
album.
yeah, they
Every
had, like-
episode?
not every episode, but they had guitars and everything too.
Yeah,
And
they went on the Brady Bunch tour.
yeah.
The family band tour. We're gonna keep on, keep on, keep
Oh,
on.
I thought that was
keep
the Partridge
on
Family.
dancing all through the night. And so on and
She's
so
got
forth.
it going. Like, what am I doing here? She's the singer.
But really, there was the Brady Bunch album.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to do some research.
Yes,
I'm sure my
yeah.
mom would know all about that, but
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
David Cassidy, was he Brady Bunch?
He
No,
was the Partridge.
Yeah,
Family.
Partridge.
He was
That's-
Keith Partridge.
I think that is the extent of my Partridge Family. And
I think I
Bunch.
love you.
oh, that one I know
That
too.
was-
Yeah.
Keith Partridge.
You're ready for some karaoke.
Yeah,
might
she's
be.
ready to go.
Scott, we're going to karaoke. You can watch.
Please.
Scott shows up in sunglasses. Like,
Yeah, I'm just in the back, like, what? Why am I here?
Have you ever had any advice or anything given to you that really like meant a lot to you or helped change the way you move forward?
Yeah, there's a few where the first piece of advice I got was in high school from a lot of people. I used to fidget a lot because I'm a very fidgety boy
Like-
with full-on ADHD. And
Right. Like on stage, you would like.
oh
wouldn't
yeah,
able
I'd
to
be like,
physically stand still?
I would not be able to stand still.
Right. Lots of swang and stuff.
And Sweeney Todd is what really fixed it, because Dave DeYoung was always like, Scott, just
Plant yourself.
stand still.
Yeah.
And so I really had to learn to plant my feet, stay where I'm at. And that was the first instance of doing that. And that's like been a huge thing of like realizing, okay, I have to be able to control this.
because
And
that
do
takes work. Like
it
for
does
someone,
take work.
if that does not come naturally to you, that is a concentrated effort to make sure you can just.
And that's where a lot of my brain focus goes, is
Yeah.
not doing extraneous movement
Right.
and stuff. But the other pieces of advice I got was, don't, because I have the loud voice, is don't try to sound loud, because then it won't work.
Okay.
And you'll blow your voice out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all about, my whole thing is, the quieter I try to sound, the louder it's going to be.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really weird mental
Me
game I'm
too,
playing.
Scott.
I know.
Me
like,
too.
It's just I play really. It's all about imagery and stuff because you can't physically see the inside of your throat.
Okay.
So you have to imagine things of like
Visualize what-
I'm drinking in the sound. I'm doing this instead of It's a lot of visual things. Yeah.
Who's the most famous person, or your favorite person you've ever been able to perform with?
Perform with?
Yeah.
Ooh. We did a bunch of stuff with Chris Hadfield, the astronaut.
Oh,
what?
When I was
That's unexpected.
I didn't
I
sing.
didn't see it
I was
going
in
there.
like a chorus when I was in university at British Columbia.
Okay.
And we were the background chorus, and it was a concert. Yeah, he's just
My-
pouring away
Sorry,
here.
top up my coffee.
but you're not having a whiz over there.
Yeah,
are
it
you?
was like he's got the mug down here ready to go.
I had to top up my coffee.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Chris Hadfield.
Yeah, so it was this concert all about space themed
Oh,
things,
that's
and
cool.
so he came out sang us some of the songs that he does, and we were like background for him, and we did things like Star Wars, Star Trek,
That
all those
is
kinds
awesome.
of things. Yeah, it was really fun.
'Cause I forgot he sings.
Yeah,
He
And
had
it's
his
actually
guitar
very
up in
nice.
front. Yeah.
Yeah, and he came out with his guitar and sang some of those songs, and the orchestra would play with him, and like we'd sing.
Oh wow.
That was pretty fun. That I sing with though, like they're all opera singers. You're not gonna know them.
I was gonna say I'm not very into the world of opera
Yeah.
yet. But have you ever seen an opera before, Lori?
No.
Either have I.
No, just like
You're gonna have to come out
We're
to
gonna
one.
have
we
to
right?
see
want
your show.
to. Yeah, that'd be
I'm gonna
great.
have to give you some free tickets sometime.
Oh well,
That's
we
even
would love
better.
to. Lori's in.
Yeah,
It's my second favorite four-letter F word. First was food. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
like come on, where was your head, man? But yeah, no, it's like people I've met from opera. Like I randomly did a concert in Vancouver, and we were told there's going to be a special guest in the audience.
Okay.
And we were like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. It's going to be like the Governor General because they sometimes come to these things, and
Right.
they've been there before. And all of a sudden, I'm like, we do the first part of it, which is like a quartet kind of thing with a chorus and orchestra, and I was just like, oh, okay. Like people keep looking up in this one booth up in the corner. And I was just like, oh, that's probably where the person is. So I'll take a look at that when the quartet's done right before my solo.
Right.
And then, so everybody starts sitting down and I move forward for my solo. I'm about to sing, look up, and I'm like, that's Dwayne the Rock.
Oh my gosh.
And he was just sitting up there.
I thought you were going to say the two old guys from the Muppets.
Oh, that would have been even better.
Can you sing solo? Solo, we can barely hear you.
No, so Dwayne Johnson came and saw
Wow.
one of the concerts in
I would
Vancouver.
not peg him for being an opera fan.
Yeah, I think he was filming Rampage or something, and he brought his mom as his date and everything.
Aw,
It was
how sweet
very
is
cute.
that?
And then he came backstage and just said good job to everybody. And
Never
he had
judge a rock by its
bodyguards.
cover.
Yeah, he had bodyguards that were smaller than him.
Actually, yeah, that's probably
I was just
accurate.
like, I was like, dude does not need bodyguards. He's fine on his own. But yeah,
Just there to run
he
interference.
just picks them up and throws them at his mother.
they're just there to be like, ammunition. But yeah, he was there, like Governor General, of course, I've met. And
Very
all that
cool.
through this.
That's
Yeah.
really neat.
Yeah, it's always a good time seeing who shows up to things.
Any theaters ever haunted?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Any experiences? 'Cause
Yeah.
I always got to bring it back to the ghosts.
Well, yeah, like Theater Woodstock, of course.
We talked about that. I saw Scott the other day. We just happened to be at the same coffee shop at the same time.
Yeah, true.
So we had a little pre-interview, and we're talking about Theater Woodstock again and the ghosts at Theater Woodstock.
Yeah.
This is a running theme.
It's a thing. It's a true thing.
And-
You pay attention.
What did you see, or what have you experienced at the theater?
Oh, well, there's in the green room area down in Theater Woodstock,
Yeah.
there's the hallway going into the change rooms.
Uh-huh.
And there's always like a weird feeling there, and it like
Yep.
drains you, and you're like, why do I feel like so anxious in this hallway? And like, of course, like people talk about the little girl. I've never seen the little girl, but I know, but it's like this feeling of like, it's not like bad,
No.
but it's just like, there's something there.
It's an energy.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
some.
Any other theaters though? Like
Oh yeah,
across the
like
country?
they've got to be like, I've never personally had experiences in any of them, but like, there's smaller ones in Toronto. like the Jane Mallet, I'm sure has to be. Like, there's like some weird energies going on in there for sure.
Well, and a lot of places you're performing are probably older opera houses and stuff that have seen all sorts of people and energy come through their doors.
Oh yeah,
and that stuff
I
sticks
also
around.
think the rehearsal hall for Calgary Opera is haunted.
Okay.
It was an old church. It's a historical site now, and it's this old church that was renovated. Not really renovated because they have to keep everything because it's a historical site,
Right.
but like it's repurposed into this rehearsal hall kind of thing. And oh yeah, there's some spooky stuff in there for sure.
Very cool.
Oh, I did not like being there alone at night. It was
No, I bet
some
not.
spooky stuff for sure. Yeah,
I bet.
lights
cool.
turning on, sounds, and
That's
you're just
awesome.
like, ah.
That's awesome. We should bring the dowsing rod someday. to some of
Ooh,
these
yeah.
places. We should do that someday at the theater.
I'm sure we can make that happen.
Just a little live.
Yeah, that'd
Facebook
be
Live with the dowsing
Yeah, there
rods.
you go.
The internet is so awful there. I don't think we can do anything live
maybe
in the
not.
theater unless it's alive in person.
We can do something live with the dead,
There we go.
The Living
There we
Dead.
go.
the living dead. How do we get here? Why do we do this?
Well, I'm going to bring it back because I have a question about opera.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah, that's what I do.
If somebody was interested, for the Lauries and Mikes of the world that haven't had the opportunity to dabble much in opera,
Yeah.
do you have a recommendation for like an entry level show or music to listen to and enjoy to kind of like get your foot in the opera pool?
Oh, for sure. Like I would say one of the ones that people tend to love the most, or like a go-to for introductory opera goers, would be like La Boheme, which is essentially it's what Rent is based off of. Rent the musical is based
Right.
off of this opera.
Okay.
So you know the story and all that, and so people are familiar if they're theater goers, and even if not, you've probably heard the music before. Even Barber Seville by Rossini, people know the music from Bugs Bunny,
Okay.
where it's like
Yeah.
"Do-do-do-do-do,
Oh, yeah.
do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do," like things like that.
All our knowledge of high culture comes from Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny used a lot of opera stuff, like Wagner was a lot, but there was a whole episode of Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd going through one of the Wagner operas in a short amount of time kind of thing, and
Okay.
like singing some of the tunes but with English words and stuff. It
This
was
is where we need to start, Mike, is with some Looney Tunes.
yeah, you start with cartoons, but like opera music is everywhere,
Right.
and you'd be surprised where you hear it, like commercials
Okay.
all the time. There's this thing called the Flower Duet from Lockmay that's in like anything bougie sounding, where it's like
Oh, yeah.
it's in like
Oh,
everything.
yeah. Yeah.
It's in a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And like it's very weird where you hear opera music, but like Barber Seville is a good one. Bohème, Traviata is like a very popular opera nowadays. Things like Magic Flute, because it's kind of like a musical. There's like dialogue and music. Yeah.
I think the closest I ever got to seeing an opera was the Seinfeld episode with Pagliacci.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a great
the
opera,
Tragic
though.
Clown.
Yeah, that's a great opera. Though.
I
I do
identify with
recommend that one too because it's short.
Right.
It's a short opera,
Yeah.
and something like that.
So it's only
is like-
3 hours.
But I'm afraid,
No. That one's only about an hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
it's like quite short.
All right.
There's
I'm
like
afraid
there's
of
quite a
clowns.
few. Are you really?
I hate clowns.
Well, he's not
hate
like
clowns.
they're only a clown at the very end
Oh, okay then.
for the last like 15 minutes.
Oh,
It's a quarter of the show.
Yes, only for a quarter of the show are they a clown.
Yeah.
Okay, and one other question. What's
Yeah.
the difference between an opera and an operetta?
Oh yeah, so an operetta is what musical theater stemmed from,
Okay.
like Gilbert and Sullivan.
That's how I know it.
Yeah, Oscar Strauss was the person that I just did a show by. Johann Strauss. It's essentially this combination of speaking and singing. So there's dialogue and music.
Okay.
So it's like opera light.
Yeah, it's essentially light opera is the other term for
Okay.
operetta.
at
And it's just like, yeah, it's this combination of speaking, like full on acting with your speaking and singing, and musical theater then developed after that.
Okay.
But opera usually, for the most part, is fully sung all the way through.
Right.
There's like these speaking moments, but it's called recitative, and it's just like you're singing on pitches, but it's in a spoken way.
Right. It's a spoken song.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
But like it's very pattery, where you're just like, like it never goes high or low really, and it's just in your speaking voice.
Like it's a melodic.
Yeah, it's just a way to keep
Yeah,
the music
okay.
going, and then like a piano or harpsichord plays under you.
Okay.
A harpsichord.
Yeah.
Like Lurch.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where I go. I'm sorry.
But that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Yeah.
So when I was in high school, I did Gilbert and Sullivan's Pirates of Penzance.
Yeah.
And I knew it was an operetta, but I never really understood what the difference was. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I could have probably Googled that. But I like that it came up now.
Yeah.
Facts.
Well, it's one of
With
those
Scott
things,
Rumble.
It's one of those things where operetta is also not mic'd,
Right.
right? So you're delivering your dialogue without a microphone
Okay.
and all that. And like, yeah, it's non-amplified musical theater.
We should do an operetta and use the megaphone that you're going to get me.
Yes, we're going to get you a megaphone.
That's what I've always
That's
wanted.
what you need.
That's exactly what I need.
Yeah.
Remember? Hashtag louder Lori.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Is that needed?
Is it? Is it?
Yes, it is needed. Yes.
Yes,
We'll get you a
Lori, it's
megaphone.
needed. Your microphone's on its way.
We'll take the batteries out before we give it to her.
She'll never know.
She wasn't specific enough.
No one would ever know. That's
So, what things do you do in your spare time? What
yeah.
are your hobbies?
My spare time, I play a lot of video games, as one tends to do.
What type of games?
I play League of Legends a lot.
Okay.
I also play a lot of role-playing games, like fantasy type things. Dungeons and Dragons I play a lot
D&D?
of too. Yeah,
Right.
D&D.
D&D?
I read a lot.
What do you read? What's on your your nightstand?
Well, I always have Lord of the Rings on hand.
That's a lot of reading.
I love Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
I
that's a lot
got
of
a
reading.
tattoo of Lord of the Rings stuff right here.
Hey, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Let's flash back to an earlier episode. I'm also Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Lord of the Onion Rings.
Ooh, even better. I read a lot of manga.
Okay.
So like Japanese novel, graphic novels. Right now I'm reading 20th Century Boys, which
Okay.
is a very good like mystery crime kind of thing. It's like 11 volumes long.
Yikes. That's a commitment.
Oh, it's a commitment, all right. But it's so good. It's so interesting.
All right.
Like I don't want to stop reading it kind of thing because it keeps you wanting to read it.
Right.
Because you want to know what happens next, and it's
Yeah.
very good at like keeping you on edge and being
Okay.
like, "What is happening? I don't even know anymore."
So if I were to find Scott's iPod Nano, you know what a Nano is?
I know what a nano.
What
I'm
year
not
is
that
it?
young.
What? Time machine. What would I find on your little iPod there?
Oh, I listen to a lot of metal, or
Interesting.
things like Coheed and Cambria is a big one of mine. Yeah, they're pretty great.
Lori
Google.
shrugs in the
Yeah,
corner.
Lori
I don't know.
I have a lot of friends that put out music too. There's this Quebec artist who became like pretty popular on TikTok, and she became popular because she rated Montreal's icicles, and it was really funny.
Okay.
And so, but she turns out she also is like a musician. And so I like started like chatting a bit and stuff. And she's like, I got an album coming out. Can you like pre-save it? And then I like listened to it. It was really good. The name's Maryse, Maryze.
Okay.
It's some really good stuff. It's like alternative. My friend Justin Mackey just released an album, and it's like groovy. It's like a little uplifted, groovy, poppy kind of thing.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I listen to a lot of K-pop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We did a warm up at the theater the one day. You were working with our kids, and they were doing a physical warm up, and it was the snappiest K-pop song.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "Which one of the kids put this on?" And Scott's like,
It was me.
It was me.
Yeah.
You know what I find really cool? That this year things have kind of come back full circle for you.
Yeah.
You started your music theater career at WCI in the music theater program. Mm-hmm. And this year, you were able to come back and be a guest speaker
Yeah.
as a professional musician to the music theater kids. What was that like to actually come back and be the dude you once saw? You know?
Yeah. Like, because when I was in high school, we got one of Chuck Baxter's friends, David Curry, who is a professional singer, to come in and speak to us. And now I am on the same agency roster as him.
Isn't that
Oh,
something?
wow.
Yeah, and it's super fun. And it was just so interesting being on the other side of things. sharing whatever insight I may have, but I don't think I'm qualified enough to share it. But it was just so interesting to be able to give, because my whole thing is being realistic about the whole life and everything, and to like share, like, sure, it's fun, it's nice, share the struggles with the kids too, because they have to know what they're going to get into.
Yeah, absolutely. That in its own is valuable enough. There's so many lessons in that, and it's so easy to get weighed down by.
Exactly. You have to be so used to hearing no, hearing negative comments about you, whatever. But it's also a toxic environment too sometimes, and you just have to be able to shrug that off and keep going.
A lot of resilience. In
you
the
need a
arts,
lot
right?
of resilience, and so it was just a really nice way to give back, because my whole thing is I want the younger generation to be interested in especially opera and classical music too, because let's be honest, it's a literally dying art form with the audience because it's phasing out a bit, and you can see it when you go to shows.
Right.
But the good thing now is there is a lot of younger people coming out, and I think it's because of this resurgence of us younger singers not holding it to this high pedigree of it's artsy pinky up kind of.
You're making it more accessible.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the whole thing to do, and show that it's not for the high class only and whatever.
It's more welcoming.
Yeah, it's more welcoming than that. But it was just really nice to see their reactions to my experience coming from where they are to where I am now.
Right.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Baxter was very proud.
Oh, I'm sure he was beaming ear to ear. I don't really know.
I work across the street from WCI, and my colleague, so you were walking down the street, and my colleague looked out the window and she goes, "Who is this professor? Because you were like dressed you were so smart looking."
No,
and she's
I
like,
try
"Who is
sometimes."
this guy?" And me and my colleague Julie were like, "That's Scott Rumble." And so
Scott Rumble.
You put the V in front of it, please.
You came prepared to teach that day.
Oh yeah,
That's for certain.
my whole vibe was I was just like, you know what, I don't get to speak that much. I'm going to look like a university professor.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, is there anywhere we can get to see you perform? Like, is there anywhere online that we can watch a video of you perform or anything like that?
Oh yeah,
we'd love to share.
Well, live on June 30th, I am in Hamilton doing Beethoven's Ninth.
Right.
At the going to be newly renamed Boris Barat Theater, I think is what they're renaming it to.
Okay.
And otherwise, you can find me on YouTube by just searching Scott Rumble Tenor.
Okay.
And things will pop up, I'm sure.
Share some stuff on our socials. So
yeah, I have my
everyone can
website, scottrumbletenor.com.
Okay.
You can find me on my agency's website, Dean Artist Management. My socials are Scrumbles91 on everything, pretty much. Instagram, I share stuff all the time. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
we'll find you.
cool.
We'll share your stuff. How do I get an agent? I need an agent.
You really just email people, and it just sort of happens, apparently.
Well, let's get emailing, Lori.
For what? What can I share with the world?
Well, you have lots to share.
Oh.
That's for sure. Well, we thank you very much for joining us
thanks
today,
for having
Scott.
me
It was
on.
a lovely way to have a cup of coffee this morning.
Absolutely.
And we thank Rob once again for hosting us today
Yay, Rob.
on this beautiful cicada-free morning. And we want to welcome everyone to join us for our next episodes. But until then, everyone take care. And thank you for coming out for coffee.
With Mike and Lori. And
And
Scott.
Bye, guys. Do you have questions, comments, or ideas for a future show? Reach out to Mike and Lori on their social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or email us at mikeandlorisocials@gmail.com.